Alright, so this first time lapse is of rainbow unicorn silhouette. What I do first is I add a rainbow background using airbrush. I'll then use Gaussian blur to kind of blur everything up and make it look soft. But before I do that, I will add white lines in to create sort of a highlight separating each color. I then add all the shapes to create the horse figure or the unicorn figure. I will add in lines to separate the hair from the head and neck so that you can see the hair without the body being covered up. I erase the lines that I don't need and I will color in the hair. I then use the eraser to erase part of the face where the eye is so that you can see the color behind it. Here I am then adding definition to the horse's face, such as the neckline, the face lines, ear lines, nose line, the little spirals that go up the horn, and I'm thickening those to make them to give them more definition. I was going to do the hair, but I decided not to. I then add a white highlight behind it and use Gaussian blur along with a bunch of these little sparkles to give it sort of a lighting effect. And I'm adding all these sparkles to the hair. And now I will use Gaussian blur to blur that, and I'll use more sparkles. And there you have it, rainbow unicorn silhouette. Alright, this next time lapse is of an art piece that I call Rainbow Cupcake Silhouette. Now, what I do for this is I use the airbrush tool and create several different shades of colors of purples, blues, and pinks. And I'll use Gaussian blur to soften all that up for the background so it doesn't look so harsh. I'll then use the symmetry tool to create a good enough cupcake shape. And then I will add in little details, like for the wrapper and for the frosting and the little swirl that goes on top. Add that little swirl. There we go. Now, I'm coloring it in black, and I'm using the eraser tool to make little sprinkles, and you can see the color through there. And I'm still using the eraser so that you can see a little color for the wrapper, a little design. I'm going to be using the symmetry tool again so that I can make perfectly identical circles, like as little details for the wrapper. I will then add lighter colors so that the cupcake shows up better and so the picture is not so dull looking. I will then use Gaussian blur to soften those colors up, and I will add white to the background of the cupcake and around the outer edges to create sort of a lighting effect, showing that it's glowing. I will add sparkles and glitter, and I will use Gaussian blur to make it less harsh. I had to do that, I was doing that on the wrong layer. And there you go, there is Rainbow Cupcake Silhouette. Okay, now this is the third silhouette, and I call this one Oasis. Now for this one, I will add a circle, I will use clipping masks so that I can only draw on that circle. I will use airbrush to add the sky and the ground, and I was going to add clouds there. And now I've decided to add a sphere to create a pool, some bushes, some trees, which I later decided to take out because I realized there were too many trees here. So just give it a second, and I'm going to get rid of like 3 of those trees. There we go. And I'm adding in the leaves for the trees. I'm changing the color of one of them so that they appear closer. Changing the color of some of the grass, adding in the reflection to the water, adding some birds, which I later were completely hidden by clouds. Yep, they're completely hidden by clouds, which is fine. I eventually decided to take out one of the clouds because, it's too many clouds. Adding a reflection. Yep, took away some of that clouds. And there you go. There it is, Oasis. Okay, this is the fourth time lapse, and I call this one Blood Moon Cat. The reason I call it that is because I feel like you guys are getting sick and tired of me saying the word silhouette. So I took it out, and that's that. So, on to the art piece. Now, I did draw this, but I had to make some adjustments to it because for this one, at first, I didn't really know what I wanted to do with it. So I'm adjusting the circle portion, which ends up becoming the moon at the end. I'm fixing that. I'm putting in all the color. Yep, still adding in color. I'm still adjusting the sides of the circle. There we go. And now I have decided to... What did I decide to do? I can't see what's going on. Oh, add shading. So I've added shading. I'm adding sparkles, which I ended up deciding to take out because it was just too much and it didn't look good. So I ended up tracing or using the airbrush and just going over that completely and blacking out all the sparkles. So you will not see that in just a little bit. I switched the colors to make it look dark, and I was trying to add more stars, which end up, of course, getting blacked out because that looked like way too much. Let me see. I tried adding some shading to the moon, that didn't work out. Tried adding more shading, added like a glow to the back of the cat, added some shading to the outside of the moon. Ended up deciding, yep, there it is. I completely went over the cat because the sparkles were too much. I re-went over the cat, and there we go, it's all shiny. And there you have it, Blood Moon Cat. Alright everyone, last but not least, the fifth time lapse. I call this one Cat in the Clouds. Again, took out the word silhouette because I myself also got tired of hearing that. So let's get on with it then. So I drew all of those things, but I'm singling this one picture out because I liked it for some reason. And I am editing the circle, I'm fixing it up. Again, for this one, I also didn't really know what I wanted to do with it. I was kind of just making it up as I went along. I'm fixing up the background. I will eventually fix up the cat because of the shimmer. I didn't like that. So you can see there I'm fixing up the cat. And that tail is not going to be visible in a minute, but I'm going to make another one, so it's fine. I try adding like a blurred effect, that doesn't work. I try adding whatever that was. I guess that worked because I kept it. A little shimmer there. I do remember I decided to keep that. I took out the white background. I found this new brush called Rainforest, and you can make these clouds, so I decided to put that to good use. I put a whole bunch of clouds around the cat, kind of just messing around with the brush, seeing what it could do, seeing all the different kinds of colors that you can put in it, which I only used black and white. And I'm adding different shades of clouds all around, kind of to create a contrast in colors all around the cat. Kind of just playing around with it, with all the colors, with the brightness, all of that stuff. Still playing around with it. Not really sure what I want to do with it. And I trace over the cat again and kind of try and fix it up a little bit. I add more clouds to kind of cover up that. I'm starting to like it a bit better. I add some shadow and some brightness, and I add a tail because I had noticed when I was almost done that there was no tail. So I add that in, more clouds, add in some brightness for that, and boom, there, it's done. Cat in the Clouds. Welcome back, everyone. Now I need to let you all know this real quick. I do have a lot to talk about. In my case, I have a lot to talk about in this outro, and I can't remember all of it. So I have made a word-for-word script of everything that I need to talk about in the outro. I always keep flipping that over wrong. And I would have said all this regardless if I had, hadn't written it down, but I would have paused too long and I would have had to edit more. I just want to do this all in one take because it's getting really late. I need to go to bed, and this is getting old. So, I'm just going to read off of this, and yeah. Okay. I hope you enjoyed watching this. For this video, I truly did enjoy myself while editing. I did though. For the first time in a long time, I did enjoy editing this. For most of it. The only problem I had was when I was narrating. That was a situation all on itself. I had to do take after take after take after take after take, etc. Because I don't want to say how many takes I did. That's ridiculous. But overall, I did enjoy making this video for you all, which I did. This was an exciting video to make. I haven't ever done a time-lapse, never really done good narrating, so I think this was a good step for me. And yes, I realize I cut this video pretty close, as it's almost not Sunday anymore, but it's still Sunday, right? But yeah, next week I will have another video out on Sunday and Saturday. Hopefully I will release them earlier than I did this last video, because this is really late. Like if you enjoy this type of video and you want to keep seeing these types of video that I'm making. Excuse me. Comment any constructive criticisms that you may have, what I should keep doing, stop doing, and start doing. Let's flip this over. And subscribe and hit the notification bell to get more content from me. So I guess that's all. I will see you in the next video. See you later, creators!